Hey, what's up? Topic of the day is you can buy it. Just because you can buy it doesn't mean you can afford it. And what I mean by that is, it's probably a bit self-explanatory, but for me, it means that, you might have $10,000 and you could buy a car, but let's say you don't have a job. So how are you going to pay for petrol? That's a pretty extreme example where you can buy it, but you can't really afford it. And another one might be, yes, you could go on holiday, but how much is that going to set you back? And do you really need that money for a more important expense? Is it kind of like usable money, or do you really need that money before you can spend it? Actually, a better example is probably luxury goods, right? And I know there are super wealthy people out there that are able to buy luxury goods and it doesn't really even leave a dent. But I know there are certain people that will buy those luxury goods with everything it takes for them, because they know what it means, what the significance of that luxury brand means. But really, they can't afford it, in the sense that they're putting far too much of their money into it when they really have more important things that they should be spending their money on, maybe. And kind of segueing away from this, another thought that I've had is lifestyle creep. I know a lot of people say that lifestyle creep is really bad. I don't actually think that it's terrible, especially in moderation. Everything in moderation, right? Because if you're starting your career and you're not making a lot of money, then you kind of have to be more vigilant with your money. You have to be careful with what you spend it on and things like that. But once you start making a little bit more, maybe you're making a little bit of surplus. And yes, you could put that away in savings, but why not? And savings could eventually improve your life, but you could also improve your life right now, the quality of your life, by spending it on certain things that might help. You might need some better clothes, some new clothes if your clothes are getting a bit old. You might need some new cookware if it's getting old. Things like that, I think, is a good way to spend the extra money if it's going to really help you. And I don't think that's a terrible thing in terms of lifestyle creep. I think that's a plus. I would even say holidays, going on vacations, is a plus, because when you don't have a lot of money, you're grinding, and you have to think about, why am I working so hard? And it's like, for me, one of the reasons is maybe the hopes of kind of having that little bit more freedom and to travel more and things like that. So if you can kind of squeeze that in there, just slip that in there between, just between living and getting a little bit of a high salary, I think it's not a terrible thing. Obviously, if you're going crazy and just spending every ounce of money that you're getting and you're constantly finding yourself living paycheck to paycheck, that I would advise against that, but to each their own. Some people, I know I've heard the statement, 50, 30, 20, where it's like save 50, I think it's like spend 30% on needs, like rent and food, and then I think it's 20% just spend on wants. Or a more simplified version might be 50-50, where it's like you save 50 and then you spend 50 on whatever you want. And I think that's a fairly good approach to life. So in that sense, if you make a little bit more money, the 50% that you save is going to be a little bit more anyways, but then you'll also have a little bit more to ball out with. And so in that sense, I think lifestyle creep isn't the worst. And I think it kind of gets a bad rap, probably because people aren't sensible about it. But if you're sensible about it, then I'm sure there's no problems. Anyways, that's it. See you next time. Thanks for watching. Peace.